Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
I was watching, what was it? I forget, but it was talking about breastfeeding is like literally the equivalent of liposuction.
It's something like you burn 600 calories a day.
That is like that's like a HIIT class.
Yes.
That's like Orange Theory, pretty much.
Yeah, because even when you run, let's say when I do 3 miles, I think I'm only burning near 200 calories.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Because it probably takes you about 30 minutes to run, right? Yeah. I do an uphill, I do my incline walk, which I pump the incline to 12.
They say that's really good.
Yeah, I enjoy it, and it's not that hard because I have the thing. I feel like I've never talked about this on here, but this is one of my medical maladies / quirks.
Okay.
One of my many, when I start running, if I don't run for a long time, I have this thing, and some people have this, but a lot of people have never heard about it, where it's like when your blood starts pumping faster, your capillaries are really small. So you're squeezing more blood out of the capillaries, and I get like really itchy legs and ass. And so it's like I can't really jog.
I believe it.
If I'm jogging all the time, like during the pandemic, I was into jogging. It's fine. It's like I haven't jogged in like 6 months. So when I do it, it's like, here it comes, a nightmare. It's so
Can you calm it with ice packs or something?
When you stop running, it's fine. But I'm telling you, it's like truly excruciating.
Okay.
It's like if fire ants were in my underwear.
Yes.
It's awful. So it's like, I just decided at this point, it's like, I'm not pushing through it because I have to push through it like 5 times and then I can just jog again.
Yes. I know. Sometimes you're like, is it worth pushing through? And what we talked about yesterday.
Low impact,
where I'm like, I've just been in that mindset of like, I thought no pain, no gain. And it's not the case, actually.
Yeah, you don't have to kill yourself.
Yeah.
I know. I just think like as women, we're just like taught that. It's just like we're always subverting ourselves, for the greater good of looking hot, I guess.
And then also when my friend had her kid, from picking the baby up all the time, her arms got amazing.
Mom arms are jacked. Like, we can agree. Mom arms are wildly jacked. When we had Ellie Kremendall on here, I was like, look at her arms. They're freaking jacked.
Yeah, I think it's from just having to pick them up the whole time.
It's just like holding a bag of flour.
Well, yesterday, I was thinking this too, like, I feel like carrying extra weight has just been, I just have a weight belt on me.
Yes.
That I've been burning extra calories by doing stuff because I was like, I feel fitter in a weird way.
You look great.
And I'm not doing anything crazy. But yesterday it was all moving and just like going down and coming back up.
Yeah.
And then you're like, this is better than any workout I've ever done.
I
was just picking shit off the floor.
Just pick stuff up. I did a thing that was like, I was Googling because I did like a full house cleaning, which I love to do. That's like one of my, it's so lame to be like, I love cleaning my house.
Well, you see results.
You take your mind off of anything else. It's a mental rest.
Frees your mind to get rid of clutter and dust and dirt and all that stuff.
Yes, it's like so many things. You're like, I'm writing, nothing came out. Well, that was 8 hours.
Yeah.
But when you clean for like 6 hours, you're burning like hundreds of calories.
Yeah, and after moving all the furniture, it was kind of like eye-opening to see how much dust we've collected, where I was like, I think I might have to get some kind of cleaning service. Well, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Move heavy furniture once a month?
Oh, I know.
To
dust behind it? Who has the time?
Yeah, it was just, and I was like, I kind of in the mindset of just like out of sight, out of mind, but it was so bad that you're like, might be toxic.
Yeah, it's not good. You should get a cleaning service to do it, I
think instead of night nurse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get a cleaning service.
A night cleaning service.
I mean, how many cleaning services can you afford with the night nurse money? I mean,
I could have a live-in maid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's up there. How is the move going? Are you fully moved upstairs?
We do, but I think it's funny because it looks completely horrific, and it feels like we've got more space, but it's closed off space. So it doesn't feel as open. So it's like, it looks like we are hoarders, and I would love to pretend that we're doing an architectural digest, and that's what our place looks like. Like,
This is
we've
our
staged
vibe.
it.
Yeah. This is what we've put together. Pile of newspapers.
It's really important to have my clothes piled up by the door so I can just dig through them when I need them.
Yes, it's a look.
Yeah.
It's very chic. I know. Well, I have a big, the way I dressed up my pile of clothes is I have a giant floor basket and I just put the giant pile into the floor basket. And it's like, is this something?
Yeah.
I put a towel on top of it.
I used to joke. I also have a bad habit of taking my clothes that I mean to donate to Goodwill.
Yes.
And then because Goodwill is like a mile away to walk to, and I don't feel like lugging, and sometimes it's closed on like Mondays.
Yes.
On one day where you're like, I'm ready to do this mentally.
Yeah. And then you drag it there and you're like, and I'm turning around with a full bag.
I just throw it away then.
I mean, what can you do? They really make it tricky. What can you do? I throw it in the river.
But what ends up happening is that I get this pile, and then all of a sudden I'm like this. I'll walk by it, I'm like this. Wait, I kind of like that. I might wear that today. And then I always say, it was on my last special, but it's kind of like I started my own thrift store in my apartment. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, hello.
Ooh, free.
Well, have you ever had this experience? Because I was always like cleaning out, especially every time I would move every 2 years, just taking a big bag, disposing of it. Then you throw something out, and then like 5 years later, you're like, what happened to those bell bottoms? Those were the coolest pants I will ever own. And I threw them out because they felt kind of itchy. And then you just romanticize the past and live in that.
And you're like, yes. And then you're like, I'll never find the pair of pants like those again.
Yeah.
No, I have that thought a lot, but I did throw some clothes out, but I threw away my like Forever 21 crap.
Yeah, that's
because
okay.
it just
you gotta
looked
throw it out.
dingy, and
it wears so poorly.
It does. The
So
neck
got, like,
gets all like
sweat stains in the armpits because it's like weird plastic.
It's like, how do I not yellow? I just yellow up everything.
I know, me too. I have pits.
I
like really have some armpits. Like, let me tell you.
Well, so we were talking about like Matt. Our friend Matt and Wayne and Steve Rogers came to help move, and I was like, I hope you guys don't see our mattress. And I'm like, whenever you see your mattress naked, I'm always like this. Am I just like peeing right out of my mouth?
Am I peeing just a tiny bit? Yeah.
Out of every orifice of my body?
Yeah, it's wild. I could have a brand new mattress, and then 6 months later, it's like, why is there a stain? I've never I've never wet the bed.
Or like I just drizzle coffee all over it.
Yeah. What does it come from? You know what I do though? When I clean my mattress, I got really into this. I will take the dust buster and I vacuum it. I try to vacuum out the little, I don't know what's in there, if anything is in there, but it feels fun and productive.
I've thought about that because there's a time on TikTok that was really into, I haven't seen them in a while, but I swear I feel like it was just Alibaba trying to sell products, and it was like Asian person, and they come in and they speed it up, and it has like this weird
they have machines.
AMSR. Yes,
they have machines in there, and they're using machines.
Shoes off, and then put it in this contraption that disinfects it. Then they have like their sunglass cleaner thing, and then they put their vegetables in a water, and then they put in this pill that vibrates.
Yes, it's doing something. You don't know what. They have inventions in there that they have not drifted over to America. You're like, what's happening? And it's so futuristic.
And you're like, I must have that. Everything in there that they have, I'm like, I must have that. And then also I'm like, I know that piece of shit will break down in a week.
Yes, they're not quality.
Not quality, but they started, I would see them every morning. I wake up at 4 a.m. before my wife wakes up, and then it's just a guy vacuuming the bed.
It's just a montage. Yeah, vacuuming the bed, vacuuming the couch. It's like, wow, your space is really clean.
They look immaculate, and I've never seen. I feel like that's a new thing, is vacuuming your bed, but I kind of get it because every week when I change my sheets, I'm looking at the bottom, and you're like, it's all like the little bit of dust that you collect or
the
dirt.
dust mites and the skin particles and everything.
Yes.
It's wild. Well, welcome to Lady Journey, everybody. Hello and welcome. 10 minutes in. That was a great intro.
That was a great intro.
I love to start with a grab bag.
Yes.
My thoughts.
And then
now,
we trick you with stone dedications.
Yes. Now you will listen. I do want to say we're up to 70 Patreon people.
Yeah,
Thank
influx.
you so much. Oh my God. Blessings and abundance upon you all. Thank you so much for joining our Patreon. You guys are making it possible for us to have a producer, and he's gainfully employed and he's amazing.
Yeah, you're helping the economy.
You are helping the economy, and you're helping us not continue to mess up the podcast on accident because we don't know what we're doing. Now, I want to give a shout out first to Linz. Linz, thank you so much for joining. This is Celestite. How gorgeous is this? Beautiful.
Is this the same as this one?
I think that's the aquamarine, but this is almost exactly the same. This is a shade more purple almost.
Yes.
The Celestite. This I love. It's inner quiet space. It is elevating your mental state, relaxation, and it whispers of deep connection to other realms. I love the wording of that.
Other realms.
What's that? Oh, okay. Portugal.
I love the idea of other realms.
Oh my God. Other realms is so us.
Well, you're like, what are they doing in the other realms? That's what I think about at night.
What are they up to? I love thinking of other realms that are as basic as this realm, where it's like they're just like heading off to TJ Maxx. Like, comforting. They're buying a Live, Laugh, Love plaque, but it's like in Elvish.
I love that. Like I always thought it would be fun, like a weird thing that you're just walking randomly somewhere and you're like, oh, what is this? Almost like being John Malkovich.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you're like, and then you lift it up and you're like, did I find a portal? And then you go to the portal and it's that realm that's like, okay, all right, same as what we're doing.
Yeah, kind of the exact same. Yes, it's so fun to live in the fantasy of another portal, but it's like, how likely would it be that you go and then it's just disillusionment?
Yeah, and then sometimes my go-to joke of stuff like that. Have you ever seen the movie Event Horizon?
Yes. You're just getting slowly sucked in.
Did you ever see that one where they're like, what happened to the crew? And then they find the tape and it's just like everyone's covered in blood.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess sodomy is happening and you're like, oh, wrong realm.
Bye-bye. It's like, or even were they in another realm or was there a predator aboard?
Yes.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
That movie has stuck with me of like.
That movie's freaky.
Am I the only one that's seen that? And do I reference that? And do people know when I reference it?
Yeah. I know. It's in a genre of like the weird, 90s. There's something out there.
Yes.
There was another one where they were like in the bottom of the sea.
That was a big one too.
That was a big one where there was like something's connecting.
Like Leviathan and Deep Star 6.
Oh, I love it. I love all of it. I love the Something's Out There movies.
We're not the only ones.
We're not the only ones, but the other ones are bad.
Yeah.
And they're causing us to do sodomy and there's blood. What a great excuse as a rapist. Like, I think it was an alien.
Well, the good twist would be you find out that's future us. And you're like, I had no idea that was going to get that word.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, back to
the stone dedication. This one is some chrome. We've got some beautiful chrome.
I was thinking that was obsidian. Is that a term?
Obsidian is also, it does look like this, but this is chrome. I think
this
is chrome diopside.
Crystal formation.
Yeah, this is like a little bit rougher. And again, these are from our incredible friend and savior, Jacob E. Downey. Check out his YouTube channel where he...
I think he's back. I've seen him commenting.
Yeah, he fashions... Sorry, Jacob. That's okay. I know it's hard for you to bend over. Don't worry about it. Leave it. These pieces of chrome are going to an amazing new Patreon member, our new patron, Jackie. Now, chrome works with the heart, and it helps you release baggage. And it has worked. It just worked on me. Oh. So, Jackie, let go of that baggage and get out there and have fun this weekend.
Let go of that baggage.
Let go. It's so hard.
I'm trying to think of what baggage I have.
I feel like I am trying to let go. I have so many things wrong with me. And every day, I think I know exactly what all of them are.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's the thing about baggage, okay? Like when you're at the airport and you have baggage, you feel safe.
Yeah, you got your
baggage
things.
keeps you safe.
You
Those
got
are
your
your things.
things.
You can't just go on a trip with nothing. Sometimes you need baggage.
A really excellent point. Like, why are we getting rid of our baggage?
We need it.
Our shoes are in there.
Our shoes are in there. Our makeup.
Our emotional shoes are in there.
Like, have you ever been on a trip and your luggage was lost?
You're
and then
wearing like the weirdest shit.
You're at the gift shop shopping, and now that's your wardrobe at a wedding. It's a tie-dye shirt that says Boston.
Analogous of like if you got rid of your emotional baggage, what you would end up doing is like dating somebody that wasn't meant for you.
Yes. You're just taking on the equivalent of a tie-dyed shirt. Well, anyway, Jackie, let go of your baggage or keep it.
Yes.
Because that's your choice and that's your journey.
Yes.
And thank you for coming on our Patreon. Now, this is our Halloween episode. Isn't that exciting?
It is really exciting. So this year I'd like to participate, but just stay at home. But New York is weird. We don't get trick-or-treaters.
We never get trick-or-treaters.
The trick-or-treating.
Yeah, I think there's too much fear for people to go door to door.
It's a lot of New Yorkers being like, why are you coming over to my place and getting all my food?
Yeah, don't buzz.
I'm busy.
I also think it's like, is there
Leave me alone.
Get out. I have a career. I have no children. Is there anything more like terrifying though than trick-or-treating inside of one of these apartment buildings where it's like paint is peeling, there's a noise, the floor, there's a stain on the floor. It's like
a roach that's never been picked up.
Just like ticking around. Yeah, so that's probably why, because it's already scary enough in here year round.
Yes. I still love suburban trick-or-treating, and I think that's the only place to do it.
I've gone totally online for Halloween. So what I am doing, I do have a costume this year. I'm very thrilled about it. It is a DIY scarlet letter. So I'll be doing a pilgrim, but my scarlet letters are F and U, right?
Yes.
Instead of A, it's going to be FU.
I love that.
Does that make sense, or does it seem like it will just be like foo?
It might.
People are like, Foo Fighters? Not the correct spelling.
I think I've said this before on the podcast, not for you, but it's just like sometimes with Halloween costumes for the general public, it's their open mic.
Yes, that is true.
A lot of explaining the joke.
You do not want to be explaining. Maybe I'll do F period U period.
Yes.
Because that way, and I can put the periods right over where my nipples would be. So there's an element of sexuality, which is key.
And you always got to keep that in there.
Oh my gosh. You don't want to be, I had a bad Halloween once. I was thinking of doing this as a storytelling where I did dress up as Pee Wee Herman. Rest in peace, Paul Rubens, huge fan. I dressed as Pee Wee Herman, but I didn't do there was no element of sluttiness. It was just a completely unironic Pee Wee Herman, a full gray suit, bow tie. And then I went out with friends, ended up getting hammered, ended up going to a meat packing district, bottle service place.
Yes.
And then I was I took my bow tie off trying to make it sexier. I just looked like Ellen. And
how easy to transform.
I know. Ta-da! And it went downhill from there.
I love that costume because, first of all, Pee Wee Herman's voice as a child was the thing you could do.
Yes.
That was the first thing that garnered attention of people being like, do the Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I'm Pee Wee Herman.
Oh my God. It's such fun. He's a wonderful guy. And you always hear, I feel bad for him getting canceled for masturbating in the movie theater. But
wild. In a porn theater where you're supposed to masturbate.
It was a porn theater. I mean, that was the 90s. Can you imagine? What are people doing now? It's you're just jacking off on the side of the road and people are like, put him in a movie.
Don't kink shame him.
Yeah. We just celebrate it now. That's his choice. Leave him be. Well, I wish that had never happened to him, because it's first of all, who was the creep who was watching him?
Yeah.
Or maybe he was caught on a
Vice.
surveillance.
I think it was Vice. It was just they were cracking down. It was Florida.
And also it's really in Florida,
Yeah.
you're cracking down. People are doing bath salts.
Well, it's like weird to think that I don't even know if porn theaters are. I'm sure they are. It's just like I just haven't looked, but it felt like that was a thing of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I guess
You'd
it's
go
not a
to
thing.
a room and watch porn
With your friends.
because your dumb wife wouldn't let you.
Those were the good old days. Now, okay, so this was something we did have a guest today, but they canceled. But I want to say, actually, on Lady Journey, we're pretty pro canceling.
Yeah, well, my thing is, what are we going to do? Force people to come do?
What are there's a lot of emotional
Guilt
distress.
people? You're like,
Yeah.
I cancel stuff all the time, and it always is because I've got something going on.
Something's going on, and I always feel awful when I cancel, and I need the other person to set me right and be like, this doesn't matter. It's literally a podcast.
I'll find another comic,
Yeah,
or
like-
you guys can. Yeah, we're not like a live show that people were expecting.
No, and I also now love that this is the ethos of Lady Journey, where it's like, you do you.
Yeah.
That's your journey. That's your journey, and canceling is it's a path.
It's a very Lady Journey thing.
It is.
Yeah,
And also
it's self-care.
canceling is self-care. When you see like a cancellation message, and I feel this like the pressure to do this, that's like 18 paragraphs long. It's like,
Yeah.
you know that person is like, I'm scared.
I'm in a bad place
I'm
right
in a
now.
bad place. We've had people cancel before, and we're so cool. We're so cool to be like,
That's not my birth control.
yeah, clearly. What if it was? You're like, something's taking
I've
care
been
of
taking
something.
it.
Yeah. But I was thinking for this episode, so I'm really excited about this. We have lightly covered this topic before, but we're going more in depth on the goth aesthetic and the goth fashion subgenres.
Yeah, and I think you can still incorporate goth into your life without people knowing.
Yes.
Meaning, like, if you still like to go through that life, you can still choose like fashion choices to be goth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think goth is such an accessible fashion because it's like, what is it overall? It's just having kind of this dark whimsy in your life, this kind of like
Magic.
interest. Yeah, like magical interest in the macabre or, like death.
Yes. And
Right?
I also think there's a lot of nature involved.
Nature, bones, animal bones. I love a skull. I love a skull.
Well, because we're going to go into subgenres, but I also it just clicked in my mind. You're like, I actually think fairy world is goth.
That's one of the genres.
Yes.
That's one of the genres. I love, there's like all these different genres, but it's really more like, I would call them fusions with different other,
yes.
like goth fairy.
But when you say it, you're like, yes, that makes sense. That's goth.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it.
I think it's just like, black, right? Black as maybe a main feature of the garment.
Okay.
But then also just anything that's incorporating like a feeling of fascination with death and darker themes.
I also feel like goth runs quite feminine.
I do too. This is what I was thinking too, is that like there's a lot of feminine deepness and there's depth with emotional perception.
Yes, because even now I'm like, pink is goth.
Pink is so goth. Anything that goes with black.
Yes.
Black is my staple in my wardrobe, and I love to like when I travel, I think sometimes it's so boring to be like, well, I'm wearing all black, I look like a stagehand or something, but it's like if you really kind of lean into it and you accentuate the black, you're not just wearing black, but like you're choosing like a darker lipstick.
Yes.
I love like the Kylie lip kits with the liner.
Yes.
Choosing a strong lip or doing like a smoky eye.
Or a paler face.
A paler face for sure. Like all of that stuff it elevates like a simple black outfit to like a gothic
Can you
style.
be tan goth?
You know what? That's
It
so
doesn't
funny.
feel like you can.
I wonder, I feel like that is almost like Jersey Shore, maybe.
Which is, they have a goth look. If
They
I think
do.
about the Snookies.
The Snookies, like the black hair, and like the
swooping that
symmetrical
covers the eye.
bang.
Yeah.
The asymmetrical bang. Like asymmetry does feel very goth to me.
It's interesting.
It is. I think you can almost take anything and pair it with like black and then an aesthetic of, or, like the macabre. And
Yes.
then it's goth. Like for me, for example, I think that I could be like casual goth, or as I call it, Whole Foods goth. You know? I'm shopping out for my grains, but I'm in a somber mood.
Yes.
And that's cool.
Yes.
You know, like funerary attire.
Yeah, maybe like a big hat.
A big hat for sure. I love that. A gigantic hat. Buying bananas. So these are the subgenres that I went. So there's trad goth, which is traditional.
Okay, that's like I remember in the 90s when I would go to this club, every now and then there would be a very goth scene, and there was one guy that slept in a coffin.
Love it. Oh my God, I love him.
in like a shitty apartment with like a jar of ashes, a mason jar of ashes on from smoking cigarettes.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like a makeshift urn. Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of like a guy sleeping in a coffin, because it's like, you know, he's sleeping alone.
Yeah.
Ain't no room in there for a friend.
Yeah, there's no king size coffins. You need a mausoleum if you want that.
It's like, nothing's going down tonight.
You're like, are you
Except
sure?
for stories about my childhood.
How funny to think you're going home to hook up with a goth guy and he's like, good night. And you're like, well, can I not get into your coffin?
Yeah, it's like, you take the closet.
Well, I guess like vampire, that's what the feeling is they don't have sex. Then they are sexual.
There's very sexual. Well, I'm thinking of course, this is our favorite, and I think a great example of the goth aesthetic, like medieval goth or Victorian goth, What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh God, I love that show.
I love it, and it's so gothic. It's like so vampire. Goth.
Yes.
It's so perfect. But it's like, yeah, they do have that sex party in the first season, but nobody ever actually has sex. There's just sexual activities.
Yes.
Right?
Matthew Berry's character is always trying to get orgies happening.
He is delightful.
He's yes. That's how I know that show is really good, because every season that I watch it, I'm always like, oh no, this guy is is my favorite.
Each of the characters is a favorite.
Like
yeah.
for a while, I wasn't into the energy vampire.
Oh, yes.
But now, as time gone by, I'm like, this character is so good.
Colin Robinson.
Yes.
He's a bit, he's like very annoying in the first season.
Yeah, but he really like comes.
He evens out.
It evens out. The storylines all work for everybody, that you end up really loving Colin Robinson.
Yes. It's the writing on the show it's one of the best shows, one of the all-time best shows, and a great example of medieval goth, of which a subgenre is vampire goth.
Yes, which feels very kind of like there's some history involved, if you like history.
I love vampire history, and I love people that say that they are vampires and they commit to it.
I would love that. I do too. And I've been on a vampire movie kick lately. I've been watching Let the Right One In.
Jim Jarmusch. No,
yes,
that's a different one.
The Last Lovers.
The Last Lovers. I love that one. Let the Right One In is so scary though. That's the Swedish one.
Yes, and it's shot so well.
Oh, the suspense.
Yes.
It builds and builds and builds.
It's a really great movie. And the other, I watched Bram Stoker's, and it's kind of cheese balls.
It's corny. It's very corny.
So corny.
It's like,
The one with Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. It's like Dracula the Godfather.
I think it should be remade, because I love the Impaler story.
Yes, I do too. I love the podcast Noble Blood. And actually, the woman that does that particular podcast is the wife of a comedian.
Oh,
Ian Carmel. Sense. Do you know him?
Yes.
I ran into him.
He was a writer for Corden.
Yes.
Yes.
I ran into him and he was telling me that that's his wife's podcast. I was like, I'm starstruck. Can I come to your home?
Yeah.
But she does a lot of really great stories about these. Okay, that's fine. And it's happening again. My birth control alarm again, everybody, just FYI. I did take it already today. But anyway, she's got a lot of great stories that are about different toxic and psychotic behavior, ancient murders that grew into these scary tales. And I don't love stuff like that, because obviously it's horrific that it happened, but it is interesting to me in the darker side, in the macabre way, in the goth,
Well, I do think goth has a dark side.
It's got a dark side, and it's like, yes, take me there.
Well, I was just gonna say, I feel like when some guys get involved in it, it feels like you're getting groomed.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson is a type of goth. I would consider him to be the punk style of goth, where it's like you're goth with the white face, the black, but then there's also elements of the punk fashion culture, which is like spikes, rips, patches, safety pins.
I feel like
anarchy
kind of is the transition into steampunk goth.
Yeah, and steampunk is such a hilarious.
I'm so fascinated by it.
I love it.
It's old but yet new.
Yes, it's like a parallel
it's future,
history.
But it's the future, but everything looks old.
I also saw when I was looking up these interesting styles, there was like a whole punk like genre where there's punk combined with other stuff. So there's steampunk, then there's diesel punk, which was like 1940s, like between the wars aesthetic, but also with diesel technology.
I'm picturing pinstripes.
Pinstripes, yeah. I love it. Like bootlegging, but with like a spiky haircut.
Yeah, almost kind of like borderline Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Dressing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then there's also cyberpunk, which is like 80s.
The Matrix. I'm thinking dark, black, like trench coat mafia stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And then like computers.
Yes.
Computers going.
I'm hacking in the mainframe.
Yeah.
I'm in the paywall.
I love I can read the New York Times. I'm on my 4th article. That's what I was hoping for my haircut when I got it. I was like Trinity.
Yeah.
It's kind of not there anymore because it's,
No, I think it's good. I've always said haircuts are the best after like a month.
Right, when it grows out a bit. Yes. And you're like, I'm saving. Neo is Jesus.
Yes.
And I'm saving him. Now, another goth era is, let's see, Victorian, which I think is very Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, that's like steampunk without the tech.
Yeah. Yes. Steampunk is like very Victorian with like their dress and their garb
and a top hat.
Yeah, it's like if fashion never evolved.
I
love steampunk too when they're always like flying around on blimps,
Well, it's one of those things like if fashion, like it's so hard to go 100%.
Yes.
Because you're not getting taken seriously. Like, I remember this one made me laugh. My niece or my nephew went through like that kind of phase. Like wanted to wear a top hat and coats. And then it's so funny. I wish I could make a little short of this, but we went to go spread my dad's ashes in our childhood home in a subdivision of a middle-class suburbs. And we were like, let's go at evening time and be inconspicuous. And here comes my nephew in a top hat
with a monocle.
As we're on property dumping my dad's ashes.
Yes.
That I was like, do you have to dress steampunk at this moment?
Right. I will say
we're in the suburbs. I don't know if it's legal to throw ashes in an
abandoned building
commercial
site.
Yeah. A residential area.
That's hilarious. And I will say I commend people that commit 100% to their outfit choice because it is hard. Like I did go to a goth party once that was hosted by my friend. So I was just trying to, go through the subway, not in like a full black hoop skirt, bumping into people.
But of all the places you can do that here.
Yes.
New
York is
I'm
the place
on Broadway.
to do it. Yeah. Excuse me. But I had a velour shoulderless top. So it was like it hugged the shoulders. Then I had a black turtleneck. Oh my God. A black choker, which I dressed it up with. And then I did dip my toe into the black.
It's a hard lipstick to wear.
It is a very hard lipstick.
It's harder than red.
And first of all, it will not come off.
Yes.
But I had I would recommend like if you're looking for a more wearable goth lipstick to go with a dark brown or like a berry.
Yes.
Something that is not people are going to like snap their head back.
Yeah. Where it goes kind of that greenish color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had from ELF, it was a not quite fully black, but a very deep purple. And I did also get I think I lined my lips with black eyeliner just to keep it in because it's really hard. That's a one where it's like you get a weird smudge and it's like, and now I have a cleft palate. I guess. But it was wearable, and I think I did like space buns for my hair, like 2 little space buns, and I was pretty proud of my outfit.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing, when you get the look down, there's nothing worse when you're like, this is what I have to look like. You get your inspiration board, but then you go shopping for it and you're like, so they don't have this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll just have to wear these TJ Maxx heels.
Right. You're like,
for my pilgrim outfit. Yeah. You're like, well, it is black, but
yeah.
And then it's a conglomerate of, you're like,
I just look like Marshalls now. I don't look like anything. I look like the discount rack. It's hard, I think, too, with goth.
That's why it's hard to do a look.
Yeah, with some of these aesthetics, these like particular goth aesthetics, like Lolita, which is more of an Asian influence goth with like baby doll dress, black baby doll dress, or like
I picture Anna Sui falls into that fashion designer.
Yeah, these have like a lot of, I see like a lot of harnesses or like harnesses, straps. They have the, what's it called when it's like the string goes back and forth, like that kind of corset like that kind of corset thing. Those look great, but it's like you might not have that in your wardrobe, and then you're buying it. You're spending like $100 on it to wear once, and you're like, why did I do that? Yeah,
and then you show up to a comic hang.
Yeah, and you're in a.
And they're like, whoa. And you're like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was at a festival, there was a woman in a fabulous outfit that was like blue sequin halter and matching pants. She looked incredible, but I was like, could you imagine if I was wearing that right now, hanging out with 3 guy friends of mine? Like, hi, coming through.
Always think that, because you're like, I want to indulge in that world.
Yeah.
But like, I've already established this is me.
Yes.
Like what this is how I turn out.
Casual. Yeah. That's why I'm very into, like, I could almost say that, this is a bit goth, not the pants, but like if I did like a black flowing skirt, if I went deeper with the lipstick, if I went a little smokier with the eye, maybe like a little black hat or something on top of it. I feel like you can do goth in a way that you're like scratching that itch to be like, I'm a modern Elvira.
Yes. Well, I always feel like the closest I can get to it is, I think they call it almost, it feels like indie sleaze.
Yes, like a hipster goth kind of.
Yeah, like the t-shirt with the band on it, wearing denim shorts with the tight, and then you wear like a Mary Jane's that have a chunky heel.
Yes.
Or a chunky loafer.
Totally doable.
Yeah.
I do like that hipster goth aesthetic that's kind of like, it's not really goth like traditionally, but it's like combining a lot of like some of the punk, some of the emo.
Yes.
And kind of putting it all together where you're like, I've created something new here, and it's modern, and it works for actually going out and hanging out.
Yes, where it's not too crazy. I also put
you
that
show up fully goth, and you're like, I've been through a breakup.
like Lydia from Beetlejuice, wearing the like, I myself have, they've always said, been dark in nature, or whatever her quote is, where you're like, okay, her. Sarah.
Yeah. Hello, I'll be reading a poem.
But I remember one time on Conan, she did a lot of stuff for NPR, This American Life, Sarah Vowell, and she had written a book, and it was a chapter about going goth, and she found somebody that was helping her transcend.
Oh, I love this.
And they were talking about naming, and I thought this was really funny, like giving yourself a name, and she's like, well, what name do I give? And she's like, something that you're kind of like scared of.
Ooh.
Like, I guess like spiders, or
oh
like
my God,
dark.
It would be rat, subway rat.
Subway rat. But hers was Becky, and they're like, you've gone really dark. She's like, my goth name is Becky.
It's so true. We have a couple Beckys in the Patreon. Yeah. Shout out. Well, one thing I love about goth too is like with these fusions, like the fairy goth or the similar pastel goth, is that you don't always have to be in all black. You can actually combine the black strategically with these other amazing colors, like the pink, or the lavender. If you have like maybe like some of the black straps as accents, or the black lipstick.
Yes. I always think of like Stevie Nicks goes from goth to the fairy world.
Yes. Yeah. She is like a
Whimsy.
pagan. Yeah. She's kind of like straddling the line of like pagan, like worshiping the moon goth.
Yes.
And I love that.
That's also the goth aesthetic that I enjoy.
Yeah, I like it too.
Or
Where
elements
there's like,
of it.
yeah, fusing it with things that are like a little bit more wearable in the day to day. Where you're like, I'm going to a party, I want to be goth, but let me not, I don't want to come in like I've got major baggage going on in my life. Because it does feel like, some of these extreme styles, while I appreciate them in theory, you think about like, I don't want to be calling that much attention to myself when I'm in kind of a casual setting.
Yeah, well, I just remember I worked with a guy that I knew that was his outside work lifestyle, and he would bring it into work. And he was a property manager.
Yeah. I'm a nudist. I'm a property manager and a nudist.
And he'd be like, he'd also do keto. He would vape. He was all over the place where you're like, I love that you're goth, but you're just like a property manager.
I'm managing evil properties.
And then, but you take HR seriously because he also handled the HR, even though he is the guy for Secret Santa that instead of getting him a present, donate to Palestine
guy?
Yeah. As an HR person, I was like, this is wild behavior. But that's what I love about like when your coworkers goth.
Deeply committing to could you donate to Satan? That's why, my goth expression is like, I'm talking like taking your little black dress and accessorizing it and going out into the world. Maybe nobody can tell that you're goth, or maybe you've chosen like a bit of a dark, like russet potato, or like an oxblood lip color.
Oh my God, I love oxblood on fingernails.
Oh my gosh, oxblood.
Classic
I
fall.
have to say, for white skin, I do think oxblood is one of our only colors that we're working with. It's like orange, no.
Yes.
But for this color of skin, you look like, oh my gosh, you just came from sucking someone's blood.
Yeah, and I actually think it's better
it's
than a
flattering on all
black
skin tones.
than a black.
I don't like black nail polish.
Well, that one's a really hard. I feel like anytime you ask for black nail polish at the nail salon, you could feel them go like this.
Yeah, they're like rolling their eyes.
Sure. Like when I used to wait tables and somebody wanted hot tea, I'm like this. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
I'll be back in 20 minutes. I got to go to all four corners of the restaurant to get your fucking tea.
No, you were saying you had a goth phase in high school.
I did slightly. So there's a music club that I loved going to, and it's still around, and I still go to whenever I'm in Houston, and it's called Numbers.
Okay.
And every Friday they play 80s music, but it's not 80s like top 40. It's you got Bajas.
Okay.
I've got Warm Leatherettes. I got Susie and the Banshees.
Yes.
You got Cure. Some deep. A lot of industrial bands were kind of emerging in the 80s.
Very cool.
So it has like, if you wanted to goth out, you could goth out.
See, that's the
And it was
place to
full
go full.
goth.
That's the place to go full, because goth, the fashion did come from the music.
Yes.
The punk movement in the 70s is kind of the predecessor, I think.
It had like, who's the guy that I love? He has a deep voice. Peter Murphy, Cut
Peter
You
Murphy.
Up.
Yeah. Oh,
That one.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Oh my gosh. I love the whole vibe of the punk genre as a kind of like a response to the hippie era of like peace and love. It's like now it's anarchy and it's Mad Max Thunder Road.
Yes.
We're running out of water. There's something
apocalyptic.
sexy. There's something sexy about it, except for like then when you are in that lifestyle too long and you commit to it too deeply and you're like, well, that guy is a dud still. He's still a dude.
And what's always been really nice about goth? They're always generally really nice people.
Yeah, they know we're all going to die soon.
Yeah.
They have it in the forefront of their minds.
It's like they're dancing skeletons.
Yes. There's
Meaning
no
like
snobs.
we're all going to die. Let's have a good time.
Let's have a good time.
Let's enjoy
Absolutely.
the end of the world kind of situation.
Yeah.
Who I was thinking of that's
yes.
also goth is Nick Cave has kind of a
Okay.
Western goth to my feel.
Yes.
And his wife is a fashion designer I have a well-known brand, and it's called Vampire's Wife, and it's very goth, and those dresses are so cute, and all the celebs like wearing them.
I have to look this up. That sounds fantastic.
She did a little line of jewelry and clothes with H&M, but they had jewelry where it would be like a mouth with fangs.
So cool.
And the dress looks like something that Morticia would wear.
I love Morticia.
But that you could go to the office with. And it goes in not dark colors, but you can get them in pinks. And it's almost like a Chanel suit, but it's got like a gothy feel to it.
Yeah, like Daywalker goth.
Yes.
Where you're like, I'm out and about.
Yes, I'm running errands.
I love fashion subgenres. This is something that I'm really into now, like just the fusions, combining stuff, picking an aesthetic and being like, I'm just going to fully commit to this. This is my personality and enjoy. I have to show you the dress. It's a dress that I would like. I'd like to wear this on for late night or something. Oh yes, I'm gonna put it in the notes.
Put it in the notes.
But actually, we're kind of running out of time. This was an amazing episode.
We went full goth.
We went full goth, and we encourage you guys to do it too. If you do anything fun for Halloween, do tell us.
Which is kind of weird because we ended up wearing all black, but I have to tell you, like, I felt like slumming it today, and I couldn't find all my clothes, but I was like, I'll just wear black.
Black is a go-to for me. Black is a go-to. I think especially East Coast. It's very like East Coast, like I'm having a latte now.
It's a look. It's a cohesive look without trying hard.
East Coast is it lends itself to the vampire lifestyle.
Well, somebody just brought I know we're closing, but I saw this.
No, go for it. We'll go for another 45 minutes.
A TikTok assertion on fashion, talking about like they just noticed, remember growing up like day to night looks?
Oh, yes.
And you're like, why is this a thing?
Right.
It's in New York because you actually are going day to night because you're never going home.
Yeah.
Because it's too far.
I love day to night looks.
Yeah.
I love day to night looks where you're like, and now I just put on mascara.
Yeah. And it's nighttime.
It's the best.
Yeah. Anyway, Lady Journey.
Lady Journey. Please like and subscribe and follow us.
Follow.
Lady Journey.